Hi everyone, Macsen here. Welcome back to my early access Let's Play for Endless Space 2. Right, let's get started. Only got through 5 turns. Let's get a move on with that from the first video. Okay, so we got some production done, ships are done, and there's immediately a pop-up, and I wanted to talk about this. Since I'm recording this actually past the time that the game has been released on Steam now. I'm recording it on October 7th. And it was a patch that accompanied the release on October 6th. My version got updated at least. So they've added a few things. And this is a tutorial basically, it seems to be. They've added in addition, which I'm not sure was working before. I don't think I changed the settings. I think this is new. So, business as usual. For the Lumeris, dust makes the world go round. Why make or invent things when, with enough dust, you can simply buy them? As planet brokers, Lumeris don't colonize new systems through the tedious process of sending colonizer ships to distant worlds. Instead, they buy outposts directly. Once established, Lumeris can turn these into colonies or sell them to other empires via diplomatic channels. Naturally, Lumeris make very strong traders too. So yeah, there is basically now a tutorial system that has been added to the game. There's a few other minor additions as well. You can see some icons were added here to denote that the feature is not yet implemented. And also the link to the planets from this screen has actually been moved. Still exists, luckily, because it's pretty crucial. It's now within the economic part of these options up here. So there's another lesson up here. I'm not going to read all of these actually. If you want to pause and read them though, you're more than welcome to do that. So this is talking about economics. This screen has actually had some changes, so yeah, the system screen is now up here, and it's actually a bit easier to get to. I believe I mentioned in the first video that there wasn't a hotkey for that screen. Now it's F3 for that basically, and depending on what you had open last, it returns to that, so that's a good system. This is slightly different. We can now see the marketplace on this screen, which I don't think was there before, but it's not implemented of course. There was temples option down here, or at least a blank screen for it. That's been removed. I think the temples, well, in Endless Space 1 you could find temples on certain planets. They were to do with the Endless, so I imagine that will be coming back at some stage, but they got rid of that from the first video. What else is different? Well, there's a pop-up there for the technology screen, and that lets you know what techs are important, I believe, in particular. I'm not sure I agree with all of those, but yeah, there's probably some more important than some of the ones mentioned. There's the ship screen, no pop-up for there yet. There's the academy screen, which gives a bit of details, and the quest log, no details there yet, but I'm sure there'll be more pop-ups coming soon. Right, so let's actually get moving then, our ships. Wow. Okay, so we found a quorum system, and it looks pretty impressive. It's already a colonizable planet. We need dust, of course, to colonize though. We can't make colony ships like other factions. When I was setting up, well, when I was picking my empire, there was a colony ship listed though as one of the, I think it's 8 ships you can have in the game, but I imagine that's only for custom races that use the ship templates, where that ship becomes available. Right, so this is our caravel. We have 1 of 4 expeditions. Gonna have a look at quorum. I'll skip these. Now, some planets are immediately colonizable, like the Terrans, I think the Monsoon ones as well. With the Lumeris, we actually start being able to colonize atolls as well, which not everyone does. I want to find out more about this then, since it may be the next planet I colonize. I should probably focus my expeditions on the most easily colonized planets for the time being. We've just completed the drone networks, which gives us, oh, there isn't a tooltip there, maybe they need to add that. That gives food and production, so that's going to help get our planet off the ground. I think science and money does probably be next on the list. This is a once per empire building. It may be worthwhile building on the capital, but having said that, you only get the dust bonus off foreign population, and we only have one foreign population here. I assume it counts foreign population as not our species. And it's also a bonus to do with system levels, which is found here, but I'll talk more about that when we can actually update it, which probably won't be for a while actually. It's linked with the trading resources. Okay, so Caravel can wait this turn, and we added that, brilliant. Okay, so next turn. Do I only have one ship at the moment? Where's my other one? Must be moving somewhere. Let's end the turn. There it is, okay. So I think I've pretty much explored my constellation now. So I need to find other constellations and perhaps move to them in a bit. But yeah, I think next tech I'm going to go for is something that improves my dust collection. Okay, so we've got 2 here. What are the expedition levels? I think I used that one on that. Okay, so blue cap mold there. And I think I want to send one back to Erie, and I'll send this one actually. So let's click on there. I might have it stop off on the capital system though, just in case I can use an expedition. And this one, I have it. I sent a probe out from there, didn't I? I might come back here though. And well, I think I'll use this one to use expeditions on colonizable worlds, like that one there. So that one can do probes, that one can do expeditions. Right. New luxury resource discovered. Your empire now has access to blue cap mold. You can use it to upgrade your systems in the economy screen. Well, I will be able to later when I can get system development, which I need neural robotics for. Okay, next turn. So, what was the tech we were researching? I can't even remember now. I think it's production building. Okay. There's no expeditions I can do here. Should I send out a probe? When do we get the next one? Yeah, we get it reasonably soon. Let's send one out there. So this is all guesswork now. You can see, if I zoom in a bit, you can see the line down there. All that beyond it is unexplored. It's not particularly easy to see for me actually. I'm a tiny bit colorblind, which I'm not sure if that's affecting my ability to see it or not in some circumstances. Wouldn't be a bad idea if Amplitude could maybe have an option to make that more easily visible for some people perhaps. Right, so let's do an expedition there. Yeah, on this map we are definitely isolated to start out, and there's a scramble for the middle. So we've got a little while to get these colonies in this constellation without too much hassle, more than likely. Let's bring that to there and I'll start sending out more probes. Red sand we've discovered. The tech, we've got titanium refining, and Xeno-Industrial Infrastructure. So the next tech I'm going to want to go for, well, there's another production tech there, and there's also money. I think I'm going to have to go for the money even before the production, which I'm not sure I'd normally do, but I'm not. Yeah, I'm not getting much money at the moment. If I was doing more expeditions, then maybe I could get more money actually, so that's the way I could be getting it. If I were to find it, which is no guarantee. Okay. Now that gives me money, doesn't it? I could stick that in a list though. How long is that? 8 turns. You know what? I'm gonna get that done first. Then I'll get the production up and running probably. Okay. Big difference between 23 income and 13. So, well, it's even gone down actually. Right, it looks like my hero has been upgraded, so I should be able to hopefully pick up a dust via a skill here. So this guy does immediately have a dust skill available, which I might be taking potentially. This segment is down to what race he happens to be, and he's a Lumeris, so all of those skills are always going to be the same if you have a Lumeris hero. This segment is down to him being a Seeker. Now I believe that has changed since the patch came out. I think it used to be Adventurer, so I guess if he's on a planet he wouldn't be doing too much adventuring, so maybe that's why they changed the name. They were called Adventurers in Endless Space 1 now, so there's extra science there. And yeah, you can see that it's often split into ship bonuses and planet bonuses between these. And a generic one up here, which I believe is always the same for all of the heroes from what I've seen so far. Yeah, one ship one and one non-ship one, colony one. So, you can only actually get to the second ring once you've invested 5 skills. I think you start out on level 1, but on the first level you don't actually get a skill, which, yeah, it can be a little bit confusing maybe. These bonuses up here, I'm not 100% if they are related to his race and his class, his hero class. They might be, or they might change for every single different hero. Well, I'll have to try and find that out during the course of the Let's Play. Right, so we've got various options here. I could increase my food and industry. I want to keep him on a planet, I believe. It's probably better with this guy. And there's science, but cold planets I would get a bonus off, and that's for large planets. So I should really check out to see what my homeworld's like, see if I've got any of those bonuses. Now, if it was a cold planet, it would say up here, I believe. You may think that certain worlds might be cold, but unless it says it, I don't think it's the case, basically. For example, and this planet's size is medium, so it wouldn't count for large either. So none of I wouldn't get the advanced bonus for either of those actually, currently. But you know what? I'm going to pick the dust one anyway here. I can always move him later on. So let's get 10 extra dust. That will allow me to colonize a bit quicker. Well, I probably need about 4 more turns before I have enough to colonize again. Right. Now I'll move him eventually to a better system when I can find one. That is recovering its expeditions. This one can do the last expedition there. You can see the lock symbol there. I actually have to get a tech before I'm able to do expedition on that. 2 moons normally and extra science. So I'm not sure if it mentions which tech it is, but it's in the second era. Pretty sure of it. Right, so I think I've done all the ones I wanted to do there then. where else can I colonize? That's radiating, so I'm gonna bring that up to there next. So there's 1, 2, 3 colonies I can colonize already, and I'm gonna have to colonize, get the text for other places. Okay, so let's enter. One thing I want to check out, well, we found something, I better read this. The star is my destination. Well done, you've discovered a system in a distant constellation, but do you know how to reach it? You have to unlock the technology Rare Earth Foams in order to travel without lanes. Then, when you've obtained this technology, you can reach all the visible systems. So that may be the tech I go after next, perhaps. We found Auriga, which is a very important planet. There are unique planets. I think we may have even found one in the first video. This is to do with the Endless. This garden planet was used as a biological laboratory by the concrete Endless. With myriad experiments run on both native and alien life forms, a site of major conflict during the Dust Wars, the environment degraded and the surface of the planet was eventually covered in ice. While there are rumours and expeditions that claim to have uncovered miraculous ruins and the vestiges of great empires, today Auriga is an icy tomb. So one of my probes, which I sent out, has found the Leo system, and Auriga happens to be here. So it's got a lot of food for an icy tomb world. Let's close that. We've actually discovered 20% of the galaxy now. Supposedly. Let's get moving our ships that can move. We've only got one that's really moving. That I shall wait for. Should I wait for expeditions? I've sent a couple of probes out. You know what? I'm actually going to move that back to here and start doing some expeditions and hope to pick up some dust, I think. Right. I may want to send another probe up here along the spiral arm. Who knows? It could be something up there. If we zoom out, though, we can see now that there's a constellation there, the Indus one. So that looks like that arm, actually, rather than in the middle. Perhaps. Okay, so I might send another probe out there in a bit. Right, that can wait till I end the turn. For the next place I colonize, arguably I want to colonize the one that's most likely to be colonized by an AI. Not sure which one that would be, actually. They would probably have to come from another constellation. So we've got extra money there, and we're going to get the production up. I'm sure this is a particularly quick start, to be honest, so far. Right, let's come up there. And yeah, I'll send out a probe first then. So let's try there. And if we dive in here, if I want to colonize, how much is it gonna cost me? 214. So nearly there. Money went up a lot then. Partially down to having an extra population. Lumeris population at that. We've actually found an asteroid field. 1 million shards of rock and ice from the scale of tiny malformed moons to fist-sized clumps glitter in the light of a distant sun. The remnants of unknown planetary catastrophes or the whims of gravitational quirks. These fields are rich pickings of minerals, rare earths, metals, and methane chunks, making them invaluable for developing industries. Effects plus 50 production on system. You have discovered the asteroid field NGC 7089. You must extend your system's influence over it to receive its bonuses. That happens to be there. So it looks like my probe just discovered the Aquarius constellation. So that's the one in the middle. Right, brilliant. So there it is. Still need to get the tech to visit there though. Yeah, so once I influence this blue area, if that ever gets over that, we get an extra 50 production. It's not likely to happen for a while. I would have to increase my influence on that world pretty significantly. Okay, this ship is waiting for more expeditions. I would like to upgrade my ships at some point actually, so they have more probes on them, but I don't have the money. Let's check the political screen. Can we add a law yet? So what is available? There's more happiness here. We've got 100% support for these, so it's we have the support, just not the influence yet. Next elections in 8 turns. Okay. So there's 125. I might return there to add that in a second. I can't even remember what it is now though. System defenders. If you haven't already done so, let's examine the key parts of your system's defenses. Manpower. To begin, zoom in to the star system management view of any of your Empire's systems. So we've actually, one of our colonized planets, outposts I should say, have turned into a full colony on Erie. System defenders, the manpower gauge is highlighted to the left. It represents the current strength of your ground forces in the system. The more manpower, the greater your system's ground defenses. Each turn, manpower increases thanks to food production. Maximum size of the manpower can be improved by researching some technologies. Click on the military screen to learn more. The manpower mechanic is actually new to Endless Space 2. I don't believe it was in Endless Space 1 from memory, so you can see that down there. It's used to protect your planets basically from invasion. Right, so I'm going to stick drone networks in, get production up here first. Both of these are actually colonizable. That's Monsoon, Tiny. So I will want to colonize that at some point, but it would cost me 120 production to do so. If it had a happy bonus or something along those lines, it might be worthwhile doing now, but it's not quite yet. Okay, I thought I'd better check the military screen, so let's learn a bit more about manpower. So, military reserves. Once all your system's manpower bars are full, any excess manpower is added to your Empire manpower. These reserves can then be used for two purposes: to supply any newly built ships with ground invasion forces, and to replenish systems that lose ground forces due to sieges or battles. To begin with, any active non-reserve manpower, whether it is stationed in-system or on fleet, will be assigned to infantry. Later, when the liquid composites technology in Era 3 is researched, this manpower can be assigned to armor as well. Later, once the right technology from an era is researched, air support will also become available. In this way, ground battles can become more sophisticated over time. Right, that's manpower. Doesn't look like we've got an awful lot at the moment for some reason, maybe because we lack food actually. Right, so let's move our ships on there. I've updated that. And we've got a Lumeris population on that. System that I colonize. Right, we've got a couple of probes here. We haven't found the Tarka supposedly. I looked in here before. Let's click on that. We found deciduous trees. And it's actually an event as well. Your crew follows a mysterious electromagnetic pin all the way to its source, a half-buried control center in the overgrown ruins of one of the system's planets. A quick raid of the surprisingly modern computer system reveals a detailed map of the constellation, including a few systems in unexpected places. Take reveals all of the hidden, isolated nodes of this constellation. Let's come out of here a second and see if I hadn't actually found everything. So let's press done. Yeah, I don't think that revealed anything new, did it? Right, so we got that resource. That's over on Gano. Let's start. Well, actually, I've got enough money to colonize this turn, haven't I? So I should figure out which place I want to colonize. Might have a look at each of these planets, actually. Figure out which is best before doing that. I'm going to do an expedition here first, though. So there's a huge lava. That tropical, and that tropical I should be able to colonize sooner, though. So let's get looking at this one, I think. I'm actually going to be researching that rare earth foams reasonably soon, probably, which will also give the tropical colonization tech. Right, let's leave that one there for this turn, and this one can do an expedition there. Okay, that actually failed. Right, I think I'll leave. No, everything's been discovered. I'll move that to Artemis. Might send out another probe. Is that a planet? A system? Yeah, it is. Wow, okay, brilliant. So, there's more up here after all. Why didn't it show on that event, though? I don't know. Or maybe it did. Right, so I need to colonize the planet. So, I'm going to take a second out looking at the merits of all of these worlds.